We're in the home stretch, Lance. Week 7.
Yes.
Loan closer training.
These guys are experts now,
This
Bob.
is the payoff that you should be getting. Your week 8's next week. The final will be uploaded. Take it at your leisure. Please, when you finish it, we will have office hours next Friday. Send an email to Joseph, myself, Lance, where you want it sent. And the final will be open book. Take your time. It's Lance, this is not tricky stuff. You just want to reinforce what you've learned all 7-8 weeks.
You know, Bob, it was the same theory that I had when I was on faculty at the Sam M. Walton College of Business. When I gave a test, it was not, I always hated the professors that wanted to prove what I didn't know. Instead, I enjoyed the ones that just wanted to reinforce information that we covered. Right. And all the quizzes in the final, they're just trying to reinforce what you've heard in the presentations, what you've read in the reading materials, or what you picked up as a good SBA loan closer. So we're not trying to trick you. We're just trying to, I was always told, Bob, if you repeated it 3 times, you would remember it.
Let's go to the polls. What is the minimum packaging fee that you can charge on an SBA loan?
And I just wanted to ask this question. This came from one of our participants that was asking if anyone had a minimum charge. And I just wanted to see what our respondents were charging as a packaging fee on their SBA loans. And I probably should have offered a 0 alternative.
Bob, I don't know the answer to this one. I don't know the answer.
I want to encourage our banks to charge that packaging fee. It's a great source of non-interest income. Yeah.
But I would agree. Isn't the answer 0?
I'm sorry, the minimum? Yeah. No, the question is, what is the minimum packaging fee that you charge? Your bank. So 0 could be a response, but I was hoping everyone was charging a packaging fee.
Okay, very good. And they're $2,500 all over the board.
Yeah, $2,500 I think is the most common. We have some express lenders, obviously, Bob, because on express loans, if you've got a $50,000 express loan, $500 may be, and again, you could charge 20. Let me think. Yeah, you could charge $2,500 on. Wait, let me back up, Bob. I need to get my calculator. No, you couldn't charge $2,500 on a small express loan. Anyway, but $2,500 is the most typical packaging fee that I see. But on express loans, smaller express loans, usually I just charge $500.
Okay, very good. Question number 2: do you pay the originating lender a portion of the packaging fee?
And Bob, these questions are as a result of one of our fellow participants just trying to find out what's the norm in this group. And I take it the question is, Bob, if let's say you're running the SBA lending department and I'm one of your lenders, and I bring in a deal for $100,000 and there's a $2,500 packaging fee. Would you pay me a cut of that deal?
And very few, a small amount.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that.
Question number 3. Does your bank make an effort to look for opportunities to refinance loans that are considered to be on unreasonable terms? Why are you asking this, Lance?
Bob, I probably ask this question too often, but it's not to be repetitive. I just want to encourage our banks to encourage everyone that's working in the SBA lending effort. There are loans that you have, commercial loans that you have on your books that would be considered on unreasonable terms. Those loans could be refinanced as an SBA loan. There'd be a great income opportunity for the bank to review their portfolio. If you've got a commercial real estate loan that's amortized on 10 years, an SBA loan is a great way to help your customer. It's a great way to help your bank. You can sell that on the secondary market and create a lot of non-interest income for your bank. So that's why I'm asking, just to encourage.
Good. And about 2/3 do that. And does your bank ever set up an escrow for taxes and insurance on your SBA loans?
Many years ago, Bob, they didn't allow escrows
Right.
on SBA loans, but that's been added over the last few years. And I think it's, in my practice, on larger commercial real estate deals where taxes and insurance are important on all deals, but on large real estate deals, I think having an escrow for taxes and insurance may be a great practice for our banks.
Yes, and very few do. All right. And what did we learn in week 7?
Well, we talked about several very important areas of SBA lending, the importance of properly documenting use of proceeds, and as we both know, Bob, that's where you get in trouble on an early default loan. And all loans should have well-documented use of proceeds that matches up with what the authorizations say they should be. But on the early default loan, it can be a real killer in terms of a sizable repair. We talked about working capital and how that can be used in the SBA lending program. And I was a small business development center director. I was a small business owner. One of the more common mistakes, and it's not really a mistake, but things that lenders do on small business loans, they forget to give them some working capital, lend them some working capital. So we want to look at working capital opportunities. We talked about refinancing, the rules related to refinancing. SBA loans are commonly used to help improve small business cash flow because so many commercial loans are not on the same terms that an SBA loan would be. Talked about those escrow accounts and then talked about some of the conditions of construction lending.
Great. And we have a email question.
Well, this is related to some of the poll questions. Okay. And the bank was just curious. They're currently charging a maximum packaging fee of $2,500. That's because it's right under the 159 rule. And paying their lender $500 for bringing a deal in. Not a bad deal, Bob. I want to go to work at that bank and get that $500 spiff. The remainder goes to the appropriate cost center. And they're just asking, do people charge a flat fee, a percentage of the fee? And basically, fees for packaging need to reflect the amount of work that goes into the packaging. And that's why I was indicating, Bob, on a smaller express loan, $2,500 probably would be inappropriate because there's not that much work in putting that together. So I think a flat fee for all, and there's some SOP language that indicates you should not charge a flat fee. So I think while SBA says you cannot charge an origination fee, I think you should have a fee based on the complexity of the loan, the amount of work that you have to put into it, and the size of the loan. The size of the loan is a factor in the complexity of that loan. So I don't think there's some standard that should go throughout the portfolio. I think that one thing that I kind of lived with is about 1% of the loan amount, and then I would go back and look at how much work I had to put into it and could I justify it.
Yeah, it's got to be fair and reasonable. That's the standard.
Absolutely. Now, Bob, I'd like to charge $30,000 on every loan I work. No.
Well, we're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. Very good. Email question number 2. Are we required to obtain an assignment of a franchise agreement from the borrower to the bank?
It's going to be yes. The answer to the question is yes, and I want you to go back. You've got a copy of the 5010-5H. Go back in the 5010-5H, do a Control F. It's on about page 191. That's scary, Bob. I know the page number. There's a section that talks about you want the assignment of the franchise agreement, but there are also 4 or 5 things that the SOP doesn't require, but it says it's a good practice to ask for these things from the franchisor. And it's things like notification of cancellation of the franchise agreement, right to remedy a default on the franchise agreement. So the answer on the assignment question is absolutely, but also get your SOP 5010-5H out, and you can just type in franchise agreement under a control effort, go to page 191. That's where I think it is. And you can find out the additional requirements or recommendations on franchise agreements.
Cindy asked a great question. Thank you, Cindy. Is the 2% special servicing fee for construction management considered part of the packaging fee?
And the answer is no. It's a separate fee.
It's a separate fee. Special
servicing fees do require SBA's approval. Examples of appropriate areas for special servicing fees would be a construction loan. There also could be a special servicing fee for administration of a line of credit. Mm-hmm. So, but no, it's not the same as the packaging fee. It is a separate fee, and it does require approval by SBA.
Yeah, and it's in the loan authorization. If you want to do it, put it in the loan authorization, and you're good to go. All
Absolutely.
Right. Where are we at, Joseph?
Week 8, they're going to finish it up, Bob. I'm excited for them. Week 8, we cover some miscellaneous, not really miscellaneous, some very important areas. We talk about my favorite way to set up a loan file. I suggest a way for participant banks to set up the loan file, and it's centered around the 10-tab system, but it's just a recommendation. I talk about file review because file review is an important part of servicing SBA loans, and really, in my view, Bob, they need to do a file review when the loan closes. They need to do a file review when the loan defaults or any other time that the bank feels is prudent. Talk a little bit about the lender review, although the lender review continues to change, and now we're in the pairs review. Seems to be not just the way it's gone. But we do talk some about the lender review. We cover the early default loan. The early default loan is critically important. I wrote a blog article where I was talking about this. The early default loan requires the originator, the closer, the servicer all to be on the same page to get paid, because SBA scrutinizes early default loans more, and getting your guarantee paid without a repair is more challenging on an early default loan. So I felt like we needed to finish up by talking about that.
Very good. We have another question that came in from Cindy. It follows up. Are insurance certificates and reliance letters required by SBA on RSRAs?
I think it would be a prudent lending practice.
What is an RSRA?
Yes.
What is an RSRA, Lance?
I'm not sure, Bob.
Neither do I. So,
hang on. If we have let me get back on this one. But I think it's a prudent lending practice. Let me look it up, and I'll provide a response.
I think I know what she's referring to, but that's fine. That's good.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, very good. Well, very good. Enjoy next week. Enjoy the final. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll get an answer to Cindy on next Friday. And with that, this concludes Week 7 office hours. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.